to the Koalafied Gamer Guys podcast. I'm your host, Steve. With me, as always, is Neil. I'm really hot, and Neil's sitting in the smell of his own fart. So this is how
it could be a quick podcast.
Neil's not allowing me to have my AC on because it sounds bad, but
Like
it's like
hurricane.
90 degrees in my apartment. So I'm struggling over here. But because we love you so much, we're here, and this is podcast number 22. Like the Taylor Swift song. Now Neil corrects it. Neil corrected it. He had 21 still written in the Google Doc. He corrected that to 22. So we're gonna get off running, literally, with this week in video game release history. Oh yeah, June 23rd. 1991, an old one. This is actually older than I am.
Not older than me.
Not older than Neil, because Neil's long in the tooth. Sonic the Hedgehog came out.
The original. Just
the original, yes.
No hipster scarves or Power Emerald or whatever on now.
Sonic Boom is ahead of its time.
I can't wait for, they're just going to go straight Kirby or whatever, because it wasn't a Kirby that did kind of like the yarn thing first, and then now it's Yoshi.
Yes.
And then it's Unravel. You're going to see a Sonic yarn something real soon, like Spindle.
Kirby's Epic Yarn, and then Yarn Yoshi, or Yoshi's Woolly World, rather. But anyway.
Yoshi. Go on. I said it should have been Yarn Yoshi.
Yeah, well, Yarn Yoshi is what the amiibo is called.
Oh, okay.
That's why it was in my head. So Sonic the Hedgehog came out. This is the one that's about the blue hedgehog that runs really fast.
Have you ever played the original?
Ooh, yes, I have.
I have to base it off the cover art so I can know if it.
I have played many of them because I had a Sega Genesis growing up.
Oh yeah, I have played this. My friend has a Sega Genesis.
You can play it on your phone now.
Yeah, no, that was. I rarely buy apps, and one of the apps I bought is called Sonic CD, and it's like a couple of the old games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's entertaining. It's terrible controls, of course, but this was it, Steve. This was the one that spawned the Legacy.
The Legacy, which, there's an argument out there that I agree with, that none of the Sonic games have ever been good.
I don't know. I like the first Sonic game. I think games at the time, I'm making a bold statement here because I was alive, but only a couple months old. They were all very slow-moving platformers.
Okay.
From what it seemed to be.
Well, not all of them.
Not all of that.
Not all of them were
not a blanket statement like that, but it always, because you watch you see these old platformers and they were almost the beat 'em ups, and then there were some fast ones. I guess Castlevania is kind of fast if that was back then.
Yeah.
But this was I think people just really like the speed, which obviously is the whole premise of Sonic, and that's why people like it. And then that's the one issue on 3D games, because you can't control them. It's almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, I think that was just really new and appealing. But at the same time, the second the level slows down, it always sucks. There's never been good Sonic that's not going really fast.
Fast. I want to go fast. That's been the whole thing.
Because there's underwater levels where you're not swimming, but you're walking slowly on the bottom. They're not good.
No.
Everyone, I think, just likes to play the first level.
Green Hill Zone. Has anyone liked an underwater level in any video game?
They're always the worst. Always.
Water is not a fun game mechanic.
It's just a hassle and it slows everything down.
Exactly, Neil. So we should just get rid of all water on Earth.
Oh, we don't need it, really.
No, it's not even. It's a nuisance, really. Let's be like California and no more water.
All right. So wait, here are the reviews for when it came out. I don't even know what some of these are. CVG gave it a 94. Dragon gave it a perfect 5 stars. EGM, I don't know. I have no idea.
Nuts on your face.
Give it a 9 out of 10. Eurogamer, 9 out of 10. IGN, 8 out of 10. Mean Machines, 92. And the GameSpot gave it a 7.3 out of 10. GameSpot is always lower than everybody else.
Well, with good reason. They know what they're talking about most of the time.
Like the Batmobile.
No, we'll get to that. Actually, the guy that I was listening to used to work for GameStop. So, anyway, so Sonic came out June 23rd, 1991. That's a long time ago. That's 24 years ago. Next year, I guess, is the 25th anniversary of Sonic. So I wonder how they plan to celebrate.
One mega collection of all Sonic games, and it will be like $10.
Okay,
just for the phone.
I'll pass. It's the 30th anniversary of Mario this year as well.
Oh. So, they're just going to go Amiibo heavy. That's all they're going to do.
Yes, they are. Well, that's like what Mario Maker is all about, is the 30th anniversary. So, anyway, so that brings us to games coming out this week. There's a couple of them. One that I'll be excited for and I will be playing, and maybe I'll even stream. Nah, maybe I will. The problem is I'm going to play it tomorrow, and I'm not going to be playing it till next Monday because I have to go to my brother's wedding.
Dude,
so
what is it recently?
When games come out, I can never play them.
I can't either. Like, since Blood... No, it wasn't Bloodborne. Definitely The Witcher. The Witcher did it.
Splatoon for me.
And, like...
Splatoon came out, and it was my brother's bachelor party, and then Batman comes out, it's my brother's wedding.
How dare he?
I know. Like, why do you have to go get married? He's restricting me from playing these games.
Yeah, because The Witcher, I wasn't able to play it for, I think, almost a week. 5 days. Final Fantasy XIV, didn't get to play it for a week. 8 days, actually. It was a little over a week. And then I got Payday 2, wasn't able to play that for like 5 days. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I guess that's coming out this week. I think that releases tomorrow. No. Last Tuesday? Last Tuesday. Never mind.
Payday?
Yeah, Payday was last Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. If we got this curse going on, it's gonna... I want to break it. It needs to stop.
It needs to stop. It'll stop, Neil. This train can't keep rolling all night long.
At least I like the other thing is, like, whenever you can't play a game, you always kind of know. You're like, oh, I'm getting this. I'm still gonna buy it, but I can't play it. For me, every time it's always been I get the game, I go home to play it, and then something comes up.
Yeah, thinking something happens.
And it just continues, and it goes like that for the next couple of days, and every day I just wake up like, I'm going to play it today, and I never do.
That's why work sucks, man. By the way, I'm drinking this green tea ginger ale. It's pretty good.
It doesn't sound good.
Wanted to put that out there. So Batman Arkham Knight comes out. I'm excited for it. I love the Batman games. I will be playing it. If I don't die from this 90-degree heat before then, that is.
So another recent trend with me lately, for whatever reason, has been a few days before a game comes out, I get so hyped about it, I can't wait for it. This has not happened with the Batman. I still have no intention to play this. But I'm looking forward to hearing what you say about it. I really just want to know about the Batmobile.
Well, I'm going to like it because I liked all the other games. And every single review I've read, I've actually been staying away from reviews because apparently they're pretty spoiler heavy, which is annoying because one of my favorite parts of the Batman games are just seeing which villains will pop up. So I'm expecting to like it because from like the little blurbs on Metacritic, they all pretty much are like, if you like the first two games, you'll love this.
Yeah.
So
that was the opening of Kotaku review. He's just like, he's like, there's some spoilers here, but if you like the first two games, you're gonna love this game. Like,
yeah, that's what I read that today. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna read the rest of it because And then I read the comments, and the guy's like, well, that's not a minor spoiler, that's a major spoiler. So I'm glad I didn't read it.
Yeah, well, he and there was even an edit in the first paragraph that you probably read it before me because he goes, apparently some of the minor spoilers are still considered major spoilers. But Kotaku's usually pretty good about it because they'll say spoilers, and he was like, skip the next 3 paragraphs. But I get it. When there's a game coming out that I really, really want and been waiting for, I won't read the reviews at all because I don't want to know anything. I don't even want to know scores or anything. I'll just go into it and play it. And so I'm sure you're going to like it. I'm sure it's one of those games that going into it, you're going to enjoy it. And I'll wait. I don't even know if I'll ever play
it. Well, maybe one day, Neil. Maybe there'll be a free game of the month one day. But other than that, you'll be hearing about that for weeks to come as I play through it. We have Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. I thought this already came out remastered, but I guess not. I
Oh
guess
no,
that was
did it come out last week? The way I was looking at the thing,
no. I thought this came out a long time ago, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean technically, but not the PS4 edition.
Yeah, well, like they did the remaster of Devil May Cry, but I think that's a different game than Devil May Cry 4. That Devil May Cry is like the reboot, which is considered 5, maybe. Remember that came out?
It's yeah, it came out and it was I think it was DMC Devil May Cry. So it was literally just Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry.
Yeah. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh no, that came out. That's coming out tomorrow. DMC Devil May Cry Definitive Edition is coming out tomorrow, and Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition is coming out tomorrow.
Oh, well, there you go. So I wasn't wrong.
No, you were not. Have you played any of the Devil May Cry games?
I haven't, but my friend played DMC Devil May Cry and said it was actually pretty good. So maybe I'll give this a try down the line.
I
like beat 'em up. I like games like this. It reminds me a little bit of Bayonetta.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be the original Devil May Cry is supposed to be really, really hard, and then they toned it down in DMC. But I know that the developers of like Enslaved that we were talking about last week and Heavenly Sword,
Heavenly Sword, yes.
Heavenly
Ninja
Sword.
Theory?
Yeah, they're the ones who did this, which I like them. I remember playing the demo and thinking it was okay. I'm not huge into these kinds of games, so that's why I avoid them. But I think people like them.
I like them.
Like
Stylized brawlers.
It's pretty much that's what it is. It's just, but I think Bayonetta 2 kind of.
Bayonetta 2 is amazing.
Yeah, I don't think you can top it. It's just it's one of those. Every time I ever see gameplay of that game, it always like it just always drops. You always
just like play. You
don't know what's gonna happen next.
What the hell is going on?
And it just gets crazier and crazier.
You're turning, you jump in the water, and I'm like, okay, I'm an octopus now. So I guess that's what's happening. So that's coming out. Suikoden 3 is coming out. I believe this is for the PS3, right?
No, this is it's PS3. You're right.
That sucks.
I'm just anytime there's any news of anything related to Suikoden, you're gonna hear about it. This is
Suikoden.
What?
Neil loves Suikoden.
So much. This is probably my least favorite. It's good. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to go on a huge Suikoden rant because you get enough of those. But it's a classic JRPG that if you like that, and it's actually really challenging. But the cool thing is turn-based games, you kind of like one character moves and you wait, and the enemy will move and you wait. This happens all at once. So like you'll pick all your moves, and then the two enemies, like you have like 6 people, and they'll have like I don't know however many they can have more or less, and they all just kind of mash into one giant mob, and all the damage happens at once. Then they all like back away, and so that was kind of cool to see like the fight all happen at once. You don't have to like sit there as one goes by and one goes by, but game is very dated looking, so be prepared.
I don't know if I can take that, Neil. But then, what is this Final Fantasy 14 expansion that's coming out?
This is so the only reason I'm really talking about this is because I picked it back up. Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn. This is the first huge expansion. They've done little like patches and DLCs, and they've added like a little casino world or something like that. But this is supposed to be expand on the story. It's opens up a whole new place to play that's apparently really huge. It's coming out tomorrow, but there's like an early access thing going on. So I've been hanging out on the Reddit, and people are like really freaking out about it. They've been waiting forever for this. This is why I couldn't play the game for like 7 days, because they kept doing updates for this stupid expansion that I'm not even going to get. So it kept locking me out and doing maintenance, and they're doing it again tonight. And it introduces new characters that people are really excited. And I'll talk more about it later when I just kind of talk about Final Fantasy 14, I guess. But it's one of those things where it's like it's an expansion worth getting because it's almost going to feel like an entirely new game within a game kind of thing. Besides just a typical like Evolve second season pass or whatever the hell that is.
Oh Jesus Christ! Second season pass for that game. It's insane.
That's so absurd. Oh man,
insane.
The definition of money hungry. All right, sorry.
That's what's coming out this week.
you got your JRPGs and you got your little action beat 'em ups. I mean, if you really want to know a game coming out, I guess there's also Tour de France 2015. You got that
game.
You got Ride. There's a picture of a motorcycle, so I assume you're riding motorcycles. What else we got here? We got Metal Slug used to be a pretty big game, didn't it?
Yeah, Metal Slug was pretty.
All right, so you got that.
I think it's like tanks. I've never played it.
I have no idea. I just know the name is familiar enough. So that's coming out. That's about it.
What else, Neil?
You want the real one? Here's what I was holding out on.
Oh God.
This is specifically for you. It's not, because that's next week. What you're thinking? This is Art Academy Home Studio. It looks like you take the gamepad of the Wii U with a little stylus and just draw things.
Okay, and what does it do? Does it teach me how to draw or what?
Oh no.
No? It's
30 lessons, yeah, it does. It will teach you how to draw from Master Vince.
Master Vince, I know that guy.
The great old Master Vince.
He's Master Bates' cousin.
Good one. I love just hearing you clap at your own jokes.
Well, I mean, that was pretty good. Hey, that's the question of the week this week. Was that joke good? You can email us our responses at qualifiedgamerguys@gmail.com. We really appreciate it. Speaking of which, no emails again this week. What the hell is up with you guys?
Oh, now we're gonna get the most emails ever, and then all just gonna be like, no, the joke was terrible.
We got a comment from What's the Note, so we appreciate that. But, what the hell, guys? I mean, I put my heart on the line every day asking for these emails. The only person that emails us is Sir Caruso, and then Wyatt drew us a picture once. I don't know where the hell Wyatt went. There's been no pictures since then. So, I mean, guys, the Qualified Gamer Guides community, the KGGC, has got to step up. Okay?
That huge community.
The huge community. Because we're putting in our part. If you guys don't put in your part, maybe one day you log on and there's no podcast. Because I killed Neil. Actually,
if there's no podcast, assume that's what happened.
Yes. Assume that is what happened. I really set myself up for never being able to miss a podcast then. So, we have a little bit of a new format in that there's no news. You like that? Yeah, we're scrapping the news because what we realize is that we don't give a shit about most of it. Which probably means that you guys don't want to listen to us not give a shit about most of it. So, we're just going to call this Topics. That's what we're going to call it. This segment is called Topics. We have This Week in Video Game Release History. We have the Mail segment, which...
Whether there's mail and no mail, there's still the Mail segment.
It's the Mail segment. We have the new releases, and then there's Topics. And then what we've been playing. So, Topics. Neil, let me tell you about something I'm pretty excited about.
Is it? Alright, go on.
Splatoon.
Alright, I'm going to guess what you're talking about. Ready?
Yeah.
You're talking about the guy that all he did was draw penises on the map.
No.
And he still won the match.
I'm not talking about that, although I was pretty excited about that as well. I'm talking about the leak of Splatoon. Someone data mined the disk, and they found out that there are 33 guns that will still be released free, that they're rolling out slowly, and 7 more maps. So that's good to hear. And Nintendo said that all of this will be available by the end of August. So over the next 2 months, we're going to see 33 more guns and 7 more maps. So that's pretty exciting because I'm loving that game. It's just so good.
I love stuff like that. I love when, this is what I want companies to see, not Evolve Season Pass.
Let me just throw this in 2 more game modes as well. But go on.
Game modes are huge. Game modes, new guns are the lowest. A new level is okay. A new game mode can not obviously reinvent the game, but it will pick up the game and you play it a lot more than this level is okay. If the game was good, I guess. But I like when companies are doing this, and I think they're starting to do it more. Evolve is not. Evolve is the far end of the spectrum where they're making you pay for every little thing. This is like, hey, look, we released this game. We're going to support it for the next few months or however long. Like, The Witcher's still coming out with weekly DLC, a quest, and new costumes for the people or whatever. And so every week you're like, I want to sign on and play this game, at least for a little bit. And then if they get you to sign on for a little bit, you're bound to play it a little bit more. And that's how they get you to come back. So they're getting you to come back every single week. It's how they're the new longevity of the game, instead of just dishing it out and be like, okay, in 2 months you're going to get DLC, you have to pay $15 for it. There's like, no, it's, here it is. But here's the other issue that I know people kind of always got a little bit mad at this. They say, well, if it's ready, which it may not be, maybe they're like really down to the wire and getting everything out just before the date, and I doubt it. Some people are like, well, if it's done, it should just be in the game already. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Do you think if it's free, if it's free to download, do you think that they should already have it in the game, or it's fine if they make you wait a couple weeks?
I think it's fine as long as what initially ships is enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If what they put out there is plenty for you and to enjoy the game, then it's fine if they want to roll out the content, because it helps their player base stop from dwindling. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it personally, but that's just my belief. As long as you're not paying for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think I used to be against it, because my thought was always just give it to me all at once. But now,
Neil? Is that your thought? It's just give it to you all at once?
That's all I want.
Fucking Neil.
Since some of the work I do is content creation and putting content out, I have content prepared, and the conversation has come up, and it's like, well, why don't you just give it to them? And my thought is like, I have this whole schedule planned out, and it has to do with just like, it's a company decision, it's a business decision, and it makes sense to me now. When before it didn't, I was like, just give it. If you have it ready, just give it to us. Give it to me. And
conversation is ruined by my childish immaturity. But go on.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, that's like, yeah. It makes sense. Like, I know there are people like, no, sense. I just want it now. But
some people want it now, and some people would rather give it to them later.
And just have it all night. It's just, it's what a person's preference is.
And it's, some people like to if you give it to them from the front, you're up front with it, and you say, this is what we have. But other people like it when you give it to them, and you slip it up the back door, and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, this is extra. So... It's really whatever you're into. So that's what I'm thinking about content delivery. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm looking forward to it as we move.
Do you have besides Batman, do you have another game kind of recently, or is your summer plan kind of just a lot of Splatoon, more or less?
Splatoon, Batman, and I'll be getting the golf game when it comes out July 14th, and then that's pretty much my summer.
Oh, I think you're forgetting about Rocket League, July 7th.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. Rocket League will be included.
Absolutely. I'm literally counting down the days of that game because I can't wait for it.
Me too. It's going to be a great time. All right.
All right, so I got something to talk about.
Okay.
That I think is just really cool, and I saw it on Kotaku, and I won't go detail through detail because it's huge, but basically, in Trials Evolution in 2013, that's how far back this was, there was some sort of riddle, and it involved like you'd find like a plank and it would have words on it, and after you find all the planks, it puts together this jumbled paragraph, and once you kind of put it together, you can find a secret level. Like I don't know how you figure out the code, but you decipher it somehow, and then there's a secret level that, like in Trials games, you always do a certain thing in a certain position in a certain level, and you'll unlock like a secret portal. And if you do that, it will play a song. And in the song, there's Morse code, and then it leads you to these symbols. And then someone figured out the symbols represent scientist's name. And then they have a sentence with the symbols, and you put it together, and the answer is big freeze with no complete end. And then when you do that, they then gave you coordinates for real-world destinations all across the world. San Francisco, Bath, I always forget what that is. Is that England? And then
Bath?
Bath.
Bath?
Yep.
There's a Bath, Maine.
No, I think it's England. Or it's over there because I'm looking at a map and it's like there's a dot in that area. Then there's Helsinki and then there's Sydney. So it's all across the world they have these coordinates. So people, fans, went to these spots and they found a little box there. And they looked really old, like they were put there for a while. And in these boxes were a key and another note, a little clue. Got it. Bath, United Kingdoms. Knew it. All right. And then so like the Bath was like in a cemetery behind like a stone under a tree, and there's like this box. And so they're doing all this, and they're all finding these and they're all putting together, and there's sketches and papers and everything, and more coordinates, and they figure it out. And then there's I'm just scrolling through this, and there's like compasses. It gets really crazy. And basically, there's something that is buried underneath the Eiffel Tower that no one knows what it is, and it will not be open until the year 2113. So no matter what, it's not going to open until then, and no one knows what it is. And eventually, the guy who made this riddle came out and was like, "Yeah, you're right. There's something under there. It's not going to open for a long time." And so now people are like really happy they figured this out, but no one's going to be alive to see what it is.
Yeah, what the hell? Who makes it 100 years?
And then they're talking about like they're going to pass it down to the kids or whatever, and then it's going to be like kids are going to find this thing 100 years from now, and it's going to be about some stupid video game.
Yeah, they don't care about it.
Yeah. It's going to be... I don't know. That's why it's really cool. I wish they didn't do 100 years. I wish they did 50. Because then, like...
How about 5?
No, 50 would be cool. Because I would be like... I'd be like 70. And then, like, I would hear about this and go, oh, I completely forgot about that. You'd see a bunch of old men at the Eiffel Tower, like, super excited about this stupid thing.
This is dumb. 100 years. No one's going to care about this game in 100 years. Who even knows if video games will still exist?
I agree. I think they waited way too long, but I think it's really cool how, like, some stupid thing in a video game had this giant, like, national treasure, I guess global treasure, of just these boxes and keys and all this stuff. It was a cool thing they did. And now people, of course, like...
but to be honest, they wasted their time.
I don't know. I think it's really cool. Definitely waited too long. People are now trying to figure out if there's something like this in Trials Fusion, and they just haven't figured it out yet. And that there's some crazy thing going on. But I thought it was worth sharing. And I think it's an old story at this point, because I've just been waiting. We had 2 E3 podcasts. This is all going all the way back to... Actually, it's only a week ago. Never mind.
God damn it, Neil.
Speaking of E3, Steve.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. And I'm going to ask you, and then you're going to tell me.
Okay. I'll give it to you, Neil.
Oh. Were there any games that you really wanted to see that weren't at E3?
Games that exist or games that I want to exist?
Well, now I want both. I want it all, Steve. Give it to me all.
I want it in Oblivion remaster. I would have liked if that was announced, based on it being the 10th anniversary.
Okay.
I would have also accepted the brand new Elder Scrolls, but
I was going to say, would you rather have a new Elder Scrolls or just a remaster?
Yeah, but I knew that wasn't happening because of Fallout 4, so it's realistic in saying, well, they could probably remaster it if they just gave it to another studio to do that.
Has Bethesda ever done a remaster?
They've done like a package re-release for like Fallout games, like the old ones. I'm trying to think if I wanted to see anything that I didn't see. I don't know. We saw Kingdom Hearts 3.
That was the big one. I really just want to see that.
Would have liked to have seen a new Ratchet and Clank, not the remaster, but obviously I wasn't getting that. No, I mean I can't really think of anything too. That's the problem, I mean, people really showed what I want, but I don't know. Like, actually, I would have liked to have seen a new 3D Mario because it's been an entire console generation without a proper one. So, that's I mean, that's kind of the whole thing, right there. Is that E3 was so good this year? Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, it really was. Like, obviously, there's stuff we always want to see, and there's some things, but I mean, it was a really good year. And I do have a couple things which I'm not really that upset about. Like some people warned some stuff. They're like, oh, Final Fantasy 15 won't be at this, so like I wasn't expecting it. They said that about Nintendo said that about Legend of Zelda, but we still kind of wanted to see it, but we know it wasn't going to be there. I wanted to see more of Quantum Break, which I believe is an Xbox only game, but it sounds really interesting. So I just wanted to see more of that and get more information. Game I'm really looking forward to is The Witness, which is Jonathan Blow, who the guy who did Braid. It's supposed to be his next game. Looks really cool. Announced a really long time ago, so it's one of those games that you never know. But now, since The Last Guardian is coming, anything could happen. But I would have liked to at least hear something about it. Like there's some games I just wanted to hear, but like, oh yeah, so here's what we're currently doing with this. I know Blizzard's coming out with a new Overwatch game, which looked. There's a lot of those types of games going on now.
Yeah.
I forget the terminology for them.
MOBAs?
It's not exactly a MOBA, is it?
A shooting MOBA?
I guess. But I thought we were going to hear something about that.
A Shoba?
Besides that, not really. I guess Persona 5 a little bit, but people were like, even before they're like, that's going to be like a Tokyo Game Show kind of thing. That's not going to be.
Absolutely, because that's more the.
Exactly. So like people were like, this is like an Americanized thing. They're not going to show stuff like that. Square got as weird as possible with a moon guy, but even then they showed Kingdom Hearts 3, which is what people wanted. They wanted The Last Guardian. People got what they wanted basically, which I'm very amazed. They got it all night.
Oh yeah, they did. Speaking of the moon guy, some guy came into my office today, or my office, and said, hey, what the hell was with that guy at E3 wearing the moon? I was like, I don't know, man. He's like afraid of crowds, but whatever.
Does this person know E3, or do they just know you as like the video game guy? And they just
no, they know E3, but
okay.
They have kids and stuff, so they can't watch their local. So, speaking of E3 and completing our E3 conversation until next year, who won?
Sony, for me, definitely.
Well, I mean, that's such a predictable response from us.
But here's the thing that
Nintendo's conference wasn't great. We don't really care about Microsoft.
But I mean, yeah, it was definitely Sony. I think if Square saved the Final Fantasy VII remake and announced it there, I think they would have been a much stronger contender. I know people love Bethesda, but like, I don't. So, but the thing is, a recent thing that's been happening is everyone's saying like there is no winner at E3.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Everyone's a winner, and then I'm trying to remember what I read. I think it was just some journalist who tweeted. He's like, I don't know why people are saying this. There are winners and losers in life. And he's like, this is the definition of a competition. Companies are competing against each other for your money. Someone's going to get more money than the other person. It's like a countable reason to say who won.
Yeah, I know.
And so I'm completely with it. I think there are definitely winners and losers. I think Sony won. I think Xbox, who I don't care about, with their backwards compatibility, was a huge thing. Which, by the way, I guess they're saying they're going to 100% support Kinect in the future. So I guess they're just not giving up on that.
Interesting.
Ever.
Because they didn't mention it once.
No, I wonder if it's going to have something to do with HoloLens in some way. I have no idea. I don't. They're just not giving up on that for whatever reason. Well, Xbox has come a long way since what they first announced, the Xbox One, with all the DRM and everything else going on in it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they realized, they saw the backlash and were like, maybe we can't do that.
Yeah, which is smart. I mean, well, that's why I'm confused with the Kinect, because I don't think anyone likes to connect, and usually they listen, and now they're not listening. So they must have some huge plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, I don't know. We're not Xbox people, though. I'm waiting. If there was a game that I really, really wanted, I wouldn't be against getting one now. More or less because I finally have a job and could actually afford one, but there's still nothing I want on them.
I want to play Sunset Overdrive, but that alone is not enough for me to buy it.
Yeah, people. I think they liked that game, and then they were just like, and then they kind of put it down and didn't go back to it.
Yep.
That seems to be a lot of Xbox games. They'll come out like, yeah, this is really fun, and then you don't hear a lot about it.
Titanfall.
Yeah, which I think Titanfall would be really fun to play.
Yeah, but I don't know what that game's community looks like anymore.
It probably like evolve.
That's true.
It is hard to hold on to a community in games.
Well, if you don't make stupid decisions, it's not too much.
That you should be like, some counselor for business or whatever, and they call you in as some advisor, and like, all right, so we're releasing this new game. We want the community to last for not a few months. We want the community to last. What do you suggest? Don't do stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's like, what did we do wrong with Evolve? You charged everybody for everything, and you made a terrible game. It wasn't a terrible game. You just charged way too much money for everything.
But so Sony won.
So I would say Sony won. I would absolutely say that. And even unbiasedly, which I am not, I'm completely biased, I would still say it won. Because just the way Twitter blew up during the first 10 minutes of that press conference just says it all. At least I think so. And I'm always right.
That's true. So, did you buy anything in the Steam Summer Sale?
I bought a few things.
Tell me about them, Neil.
I'm trying to remember them because it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, I might play that game. I do not buy Steam games with the thought that I'm going to go home and play this game. It's someday I might be bored and I might want to play something, or I'll be like in a car or on a train and want to play some game. And when that time comes, this is a good game to have. And it's cheap right now. But, and I'm trying to think, I bought a couple. I bought Magica, even though it's fun to play with friends, and I know you don't have it, you're not going to play. Good thing we have Battle Block Theater, though, because we're going to play that.
One day, Neil, one day.
And
that was like $1.
I bought it for you.
I know you did.
Because it was $1.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to have a quick look at my library, because I know I bought a couple, but they were very small games, always $1 or $2.
You bought the Banner Saga.
I was going to say, the biggest thing I bought was the Banner Saga. The Saga.
So, I also bought the Banner Saga, and I bought Valkyria Chronicles, just to make Neil happy.
Just so I'll stop. Well, now the problem is I'm just going to keep telling you to play it. Now I'm like, now you have no excuse. The thing is, I have to throw this warning out that I don't think you're going to like the beginning of it, because it's not tactical at all. It's it's very, it's just a tutorial. So they just run down this narrow hallway, look at that person, and press this button. And the first couple levels, I guess, eventually you'll get to a city. You know what? Don't worry about it. Eventually it gets very tactical, and you have to really pick your people, their specialties, what they're doing, and who's fighting with who, because they give, like a Fire Emblem, 2 people fighting next to each other will give them a bonus status effect. And later in the game, you really have to take that stuff into consideration. But in the very beginning, it's super easy. And then it gets insanely hard. Not insanely hard. Not if you're not good tactically, Steve, which I think Fire Emblem has taught you.
It has taught me very well.
But and the Banner Saga. So how's that doing? I can't say Saga. Banner Saga.
Right, so, Banner Saga's good. This is now the what we've been playing section.
We just get right into it?
Yeah, I'll go right into it.
Okay.
So I've been playing Banner Saga. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good. It's not as good as Fire Emblem, but it's holding my attention. Unfortunately, Batman comes out tomorrow, so it will not be holding my attention, so I'm going to have to take a break on it. But I'm traveling a lot, so I'll have my laptop, so I'm going to be playing it then. I'm enjoying it so far.
So what were you talking about in the beginning? You said it was very diplomacy?
The beginning is very just heavy with just diplomatic talk and all this oh, well, if he becomes leader, this happens. And it's you don't know what's going on because it just started. You don't really care. And there's I'd say you're pretty much just reading these things that are written like they were, written years ago. So it's all real proper language. And you're oh, this is really dense and whatever. And then after about half an hour, it kind of spreads out and you start getting into battles. You start making your decisions. You get more interactive, but the first 30 minutes it starts with a tutorial gameplay, then it hits you with 30 minutes of dense story, and then you go back into the gameplay. So it's pretty good.
And so, I know it's all animated. Is it all still images? Like during the cutscenes, is it just a still image?
Yeah, well, I didn't say they're still. Their eyes move, but like they're still images. So it's kind of like not much to look at.
Well, it's supposed to be very artistic. Like,
yeah.
wait, it's I remember one of the main selling points was like it's supposed to be a very beautiful game, even if it's like an indie 2D game.
Yeah, it's nice looking in battle. It's cool because they're all like look like they're drawn. But if I had to say what it is, it's a mix between the Oregon Trail and Fire Emblem, pretty much. It's like
can people like die on the trail?
Yeah, you're leading a caravan, and like you have to make decisions that can lead to you losing people or losing supplies, or you make the right decision and you gain people and gain supplies.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's like the Oregon Trail and then Fire Emblem, pretty much.
Is it as hard as the Oregon Trail, where you always die of dysentery?
No, there's no dysentery. Chlamydia, syphilis, but no dysentery.
Seriously?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man.
Once those guys start raping and pillaging.
Well, I thought, syphilis was a real thing back then. A real issue.
Yeah, you can die from it.
Yeah, totally can.
Still can. If you're against
being alive, getting vaccines.
So, I won't talk too much about it because that game's been out for a long time already. But it's pretty fun if you haven't seen it. Well, you missed your chance to get it for $5 on the Steam store. But it is pretty fun if you're into Fire Emblem type games, tactical RPGs. Other than that, I talked about Splatoon earlier, so I've been playing Splatoon. It continues to be fun. I'm working my way through the single player. Not much to report back on that. I mean, I've talked about it for 3 or 4 weeks already, so everyone kind of knows my deal with that. I haven't talked enough about Hearthstone, so I'm playing Hearthstone. I hate priests.
For the rest of our lives, as long as this podcast is going, there will be Hearthstone.
I hate warriors. I hate priests. I'm now a rogue. I'm no longer a mage, and that's about all you need to know.
How much fun are rogues, though? Like,
so much fun. Playing the combat cards are so much fun.
Yeah, like, the mages are like, you take their cards out as fast as possible with spells. Priests obviously just heal. Hunters, like, just get low-level cards out there and take them out quickly. The rogue is like, alright, I need to get this card, which can lead this card. If I use these properly, I'll get a really powerful guy. And, like, it's way more tactical and thinking to it, which I really like.
Yeah.
And I don't have a strong deck right now. It's a few cards and then a lot of neutrals. Like, I'm going neutral heavy in it, which you do most decks, but I'm going to start, I think, crafting cards for the rogue and try to beef that up a little bit.
You need the card Preparation. That's a huge card to chain together spells. It's it makes every spell you have worth 3 less in your hand.
Oh.
So if you call that, like, if you have a Preparation in your hand and you're at like 10 mana, you can like chain together like 4 or 5 spells to buff your characters and to wipe the board, and that's pretty much how I win all my games.
How'd you get that spell? Did you just get it from a pack?
I crafted it.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna do that then. Yeah,
it's what is purple? It's pretty rare though because it's purple. I only have one of them.
I have no idea.
So,
I honestly didn't know. I did know that there were different rarity levels, but I just think like they're all the same if they're not a legendary, which I know isn't true at all.
Well, yeah, that's actually not true. So I gave up on The Witcher. I was playing the Bloody Baron quest for about 4 hours, and I realized, I've been doing this for 4 hours, and I've gotten into combat maybe once, and that was, pissing me off. And then I got into combat, and I was like, well, the combat sucks anyway, so what am I waiting for? So I gave up on it. I did give it a fair shot. I don't like that game, and that's all there is to say about that.
That's not there all is to say. There's so much to say. No, but
much to Neil's upsetment, I don't like that.
I'm like super understanding of this, which usually I'm not when me and Steve get into some disagreements about games. Like how I say I don't really like Batman, but I like Shadows of Mordor. And The Witcher 3 is probably my game of the year right now. But it's very story heavy, which I think I like. Which I know I like, but I think you don't like as much.
I was gonna say, like, you think you like. You don't even know if you like it.
Like you like good stories. I'm not saying you don't, but I think you like the gameplay more. Like, you were interested in Bloodborne's story, but they didn't throw cutscenes and you weren't running back and forth to talk to some
Why am I playing a
drunk
game?
guy.
Playing a game to play a game.
See, I am happily the guy, like, Metal Gear Solid is known
Like,
for having, like...
I like a good story, but if the gameplay to story ratio is out of whack, I will be the first to complain.
Okay. So you are... A gameplay is the most important part of a game.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's what that medium is for. Obviously, I want a good story to drive forwards my actions, but if I'm not having fun playing the game to get to the next part of the story, the chances of me seeing the story through are pretty slim.
Okay. See, that's a lot of people. I'm the opposite. I am 100% story and, like, characters and setting, and gameplay is, like, down low. I will play a game that I don't think is fun if I'm really just interested in the story. But if a game is really fun and has almost zero story, I sometimes find it hard to finish. Not as much recently. Like, in the old, like, I'm trying to think of an example of a game that is highly regarded that I'm just like, nah, because it didn't have enough of a story focus to it.
That's interesting though, because like Bloodborne has basically no story given to you.
I know, and that's why it's changing a little bit lately. But to be fair, I was looking up everything about the story.
That's true.
Right. Like, I wasn't just
interested in the lore.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Like, that's why Skyrim I get kind of bored eventually, because I'm just like, I know you say Oblivion's better and had a better story, but I couldn't get into that either. And so things like that, like Metal Gear Solid is known for having like an hour and a half cutscenes and stuff like that, and I love that. I'll just sit there and watch them. I know that. That's why, like, a game I've been playing that we already talked about was Final Fantasy 14, which is, I don't really like MMOs, but it's a very story heavy one where they say the final cutscene is over an hour long. You just sit there, and I'm completely into that.
So why do you like Hearthstone? There's no story in that.
That's I'm still in the camp where I don't consider mobile games. I consider them time killers. I think Hearthstone is the closest thing, but it's still like any other.
Hearthstone's a game, man. That's a game.
It really is, because it's few apps I will like check every day or sneak in a game at work. But Hearthstone's a lot of fun. It was a PC game first, I guess. That's how I'm gonna defend myself there.
I think it was an iPad game first.
You might be right, but
I think it launched natively on the iPad. But
I think you're right. Which I mentioned to Steve because someone else said this. How, like, it would be so cool if HoloLens was for Hearthstone, and then you just like looked at a table, and there would just be on the table like these living creatures. Oh man, that would be so cool.
Well, Sony had a game very similar to that called Eye of Judgment.
Oh yeah, I
so
actually know that.
That game wasn't good. So.
Well, it didn't have the technology. If it was a Hearthstone gameplay with a HoloLens and it actually worked and looked kind of good, that'd be really cool. I know. I had this stupid game for the PC a really long time ago that was just chess.
Yeah.
But it had these really cool animations with all the characters and actors or actions, and they'd actually like fight and stuff, and I like loved it. It was just chess, and so I think that'd be really cool.
Was that the name of the game? Just Chess?
It was just chess.
So what have you been playing other than Hearthstone and Final Fantasy 14?
Well, before I move on to Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, I'll just say that I did originally play this back in the PS3 when it first released.
Back in the day.
Way long. I think it's like, 2 years ago now? And I enjoyed it, but I didn't really love it. Mainly because the TV I was playing on, Steve might remember this. Not that he's ever seen it, but I talked about it enough. Where I couldn't, it was like the screen was off-centered and you couldn't fix it. So I couldn't see everything on the screen. In an MMO, your screen's like filled with data. So I couldn't see all that. The bottom was blurry, so I couldn't read what the story was. I couldn't like read the text because it was also really small. And since it was launched, there was a lot of problems. It was impossible to get into a server. And for there's always like three types of characters. There's the healer, the tank, and then DPS, which does the damage. I was playing as one of those guys, and they were super overpopulated. Like, let's say, I forget how many characters there are, but let's say there's 10 characters. There'd be like 2 healer classes, 2 tank classes, and then 6 of the DPS. So everyone, there's going to be a higher ratio. And so to progress the story and to do certain things, you have to do instances and duties, and you have to work with another party. Like, you have to do it. There's no other way to do it. And so to work with another party, since I was a DPS, you have to have a healer, tank, and 2 DPSs. And I could wait up to an hour or longer to do this mission. And so I'd run it. You can run around and do other stuff, but it's at a certain point you have to do this mission. There's not really much else to do. Mm-hmm. And so I remember playing this game, and like there was one mission that took me a couple days to get through because the wait times for it were over an hour. Somebody would drop out, and then we'd fail. We couldn't do it if one person leaves, and then my internet's always bad, and so that was always like hindering me. I was always like, oh, this kind of sucks. But since Heaven's Ward is releasing, and it's an early access, they have 2 new classes, and they're a healer and a tank, and everybody has switched to them to try them out. And so I have literally no wait times now. Oh, and so when I used to wait like an hour, I wait like 30 seconds now. And so just to put this into more perspective, when I first played it, I played it for 30 days. I got to level like 30 something. I have now played this game for 2 days, and I'm level 26.
Well, that's how MMO works.
Yeah. I mean, you level up really fast, but the leveling kind of stops around 20. It's going slow, but I mean, it's so much better this time around. I'm liking it way more. And I never thought I'd really like an MMO like that. So, The Witcher, I won't talk much because we talk about that so much. And I've played it. I'm still kind of like, every now and then, like I said, the DLCs, they'll release a free one every week. I'll just download them, pop in, do that quest, do a little question marks, kind of explore. But the game that I'm getting a little more hyped about, as it's getting closer and closer, is Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
And so, since I got the demo free from, was it this month's PS Plus or last month's? Doesn't matter. I did.
It was June.
Okay. There's like a main mission. You do the main mission, and then it unlocks a bunch of other side quests in the same area. And so, like, they just like kill this guy, steal this data, rescue this person, little things like that. And so I'm just doing those, kind of messing around with the mechanics, having a lot of fun with it. It feels like a Metal Gear Solid game should feel, and the action's really good. Sound design looks cool, all that stuff. Getting used to controls. I'm getting a little worried though that this upcoming game might be my least favorite Metal Gear, and I think it's going to be everyone's favorite one, for the simple fact that now it used to be a very linear, story-based game, which is what I like, and now it's going more open world, and he even said he's doing less cutscenes because people don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
So those are getting away from exactly what I like. But the problem is, like, it's kind of like, almost like Far Cry. Like, let's say there's an outpost. You're like, find an outpost, and then it would be like, hey, here are the 3 missions to do with that outpost. You can do them any way you want, which everyone really likes, and I probably will like it. But I remember it always kind of gets repetitive, because then you'll go to a new outpost, like, hey, you remember how you assassinated that guy in the last one? We'll do it again this time. And like it feels more generic than a fine-tuned story mission. But I can't say for sure because I haven't played it. But the problem that's worrying me with this one is that you can you hide behind cover and you can pop out to shoot and stuff. And then you can mark people with the binoculars, because that's every gaming mechanic ever now, is marking people first. Mm-hmm. When you do that, like, let's say you're behind a little cover, instead of popping out, you just leave the cover and just stare at it, so you have to stand up to look over it, and then everyone just sees you. So there's no quick way to do that. And then if you are attached to the cover, people can't see you, but let's say you hit the button to look through your binoculars and you step out, but you only do it for a second, just because you detach from the wall, your visibility, whatever, goes up in the actual coding of the data, coding of the game. So even if you don't really move, it's enough that people can see you. So there have been times when I'll hit a button just for a second, and then suddenly everybody sees me. And the other mechanic that they've added is when you're sneaking, it used to be someone saw you, that was it. Now you get 3 seconds of slow motion to kill that person. So if someone sees you, you hit a button and you instantly turn to them with your gun drawn. It's happened multiple times where someone has seen me through walls. I cannot shoot them because they're inside a building. And so I just they spot me and I lose. And there's just no way they saw me. And so if that happens a lot, I'm going to get really mad, because that's just an unfair mechanic that's going to ruin it. A lot of this game is stealth, and you get achievements for never being seen, which I kind of actually like to do. It's one of the few games where I almost go for a platinum, because they're just really tough and fun to do. And so I'm having a lot of fun with it, but it's worrying me, and I can't wait for the real game to see. And the most important part, which I don't know if you know this, you get to capture a dog as a puppy and raise it and then it fights with you.
Oh wow, I'm into that.
Right? And like
that's the only part of this game that interests me so far.
There's this whole like, because I don't think you've been paying attention to it at all, but there's like this whole mini game aspect to it, where you have a base and you raise your own base, and you add extensions to it and stuff like that. And part of the thing you do is like you steal enemy soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you knock them out and you put them on this balloon thing. Remember in like the Dark Knight 2? That the Dark Knight, which is the second Batman movie. Tell me you've seen the Batman movies.
Yes, I have.
Okay, one of the few movies. When he goes to like China and he steals the guy and like he pulls a parachute and a plane picks him up. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Which one are we talking about? The second one.
Second one. He goes. The one with the Joker. He like goes to China, finds the accountant, and like as he's leaving, he basically pulls this balloon that kind of like floats up in the sky, and then a plane comes by with a hook and grabs the balloon and takes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's like the mechanic in Metal Gear Solid. You knock a guy out, you attach him to a balloon, and you send him up in the air, and then a plane comes and gets him. And you can do it to like goats and sheep and cows and bears, and like they like.
That's funny.
Because it's just kind of like that's the humor of Metal Gear Solid. It's like kind of this quirkiness to it, and so people are saying that like you're going to be able to train a bear eventually and do things like that. But so you catch like a wolf and you get to train it, and you bring all this stuff back to your base, and you get to decide like, all right, as a person, you'll be like, all right, I want you to be like a medic, and then you might get more health kits the next mission. Like so there's this whole kind of base building mini game to it, which I'm really excited to kind of dive into and see because I think it's going to be. It's one of those things where like you'll go into a mission and be like, all right, I'm actually just going to collect people because I need more. I need like 5 more people to build this barracks or something like that. So I'm excited to see that. It looks like it's gonna be a really fun game. I have my worries, but hopefully that's just me being a little too protective of the series that I really liked. Besides that, I feel like I played something else. Well, I played a lot this week just because I played like all the party games, Sports Friends. You know, all that fun stuff. Ho-Hokum. Have you played Ho-Hokum, Steve? It's a weird game.
No, I haven't.
Oh, man. It's weird. It's a very, very weird game. Besides that, I think that's it. Playing a lot, I guess, recently.
Yeah, I've been kind of all over the map, too, waiting for Batman. So.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Batman. I'm, like, really excited about it.
I'm looking forward to it tomorrow night, man. It'll be a good time. But, unfortunately, I'm about to overheat. So I think that we should call this a podcast here.
Okay.
So, thanks for tuning in to Koalafied Gamer Guys podcast. This is the 22nd podcast. You can find this podcast every week on our YouTube. If you're here, please subscribe. You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/QualifiedGamerGuys. You can follow us on Twitter at QualifiedGGS. If you like our intro music, head over to soundcloud.com/GearheadEDM. Send us an email at qualifiedgamerguys@gmail.com, and we'll answer it. We're usually pretty good about answering it, and we always include it in the show next time. So if you'd like to be on the podcast, please email us. This week's question. We got the summer drought coming up. What are your plans to get through the summer drought? What games will you be playing? I'll have Batman, Splatoon, and golf. Neil will have something. And I want to know what you guys will be having. Did you pick up some games in the summer sale that you'll be playing in the summer drought? Or just catching up on your backlog? So let us know. Maybe some Hearthstone. Neil, do you have anything else?
Man, Hearthstone is the most frustrating game ever. Don't get into it. Don't get addicted like we did.
If you haven't started playing Hearthstone, don't play it anymore. Is that all you had to say to the people?
Yeah, that's it, man.
That's it. That's all.
That's it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the 22nd Qualified Gamer Guys podcast. We will be looking forward to hearing from you in the emails, aka email us, and we'll have this up as soon as possible. So it's a me podcast, so give me my time. All right. So until next week, stay flesh. Stay flesh?
Flash? What?
Well, I got stuck between fly and fresh, so
Stay fresh, everybody.
Stay fresh. Stay fresh, everyone.